Hi, this is Jerry Bembry here at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Owings Mills, here to discuss the Baltimore Ravens bye week with Mike Preston, the longtime columnist with the Baltimore Sun. In terms of Baltimore Ravens football, this was supposed to be a quiet week, Mike, after the Ravens won a division over the weekend and earned an opening round bye in the postseason. But things got a little stirred up with a column that you wrote this week about the diminished play of Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. Across the nation, people don't see Ed and Ray on a weekly basis, but you do. So tell us why you wrote that piece this week.
Well, actually, I thought I shot J.R. Ewing, from the response so far. What I've seen was, and I've seen it over a course of 3 or 4 weeks, a breakdown in skills with Ray and an attitude with Ed that just wasn't typical Ed Reed. And when I saw this, I tried to give them a couple weeks to improve their games before I wrote the column, but I didn't see any improvement. Now, Ray had the toe injury, so I said, I'll give him 3 to 4 games. If he gets better, then that's fine. Well, it didn't get better, and I'm watching Ed Reed, and he's looking worse. So you're going into the bye week. This is a time to modify, make adjustments before you hit the home stretch. So it's a great time to write the column, and the response was predictable. When you take on icons, that happens, but that's my job, and if people don't like it, too bad. I pick up the paper the next day, and my colleague is taking shots at me, and that tells you something about the town itself. They like their little homerisms, they like their heroes, but, heroes fade, and you got to move on, and they're at the point that it's time for them to make adjustments, and then at the end of the year say, do we want to bring these 2 guys back or not?
Now, you mentioned your colleague, that's Kevin Cowherd, who is a columnist with the Baltimore Sun as well. Did you know about his column in advance, and were you surprised about what you read?
No, I really wasn't surprised because that's Kevin's style. It would have surprised me if he had came out and written a column I had written. That would have surprised me, okay, but that didn't happen. But you know how it is in this town. It's like taking on Cal Ripken when it was his time. You knew you were going to get the same kind of response, but people who truly watch the game, who are truly knowledgeable football fans, they know what I've been seeing and what I was writing about because they've been seeing it too. I just wrote what others refuse to talk about or write about.
If you listen to some of the talk radio, a lot of people actually agree with what you said, and you look at Ed Reed's performance over the year. Now, let's talk about his injuries, because he's had a neck injury over the last couple of seasons. I mean, how much of that has been a limitation in terms of him making tackles on the field? Is there a fear factor involved with him?
Well, anytime you have a neck injury, there's always fear. Samari Rolle 3 years ago, had a neck injury, and I said, Samari, do you think about this all the time? He goes, every time you put the equipment on, every time you put on the pads, there's this fear that, hey, your life could be over or you could be paralyzed. And I see that in Ed, that at the beginning of the season he was much more aggressive, and now I think he's injured a little bit, but he won't come out and admit it. And there's that fear there, and it's going to continue to grow. But I tell you what, Jerry, you watch. The Ravens should put me on the payroll, because what I did was I did what their coaches refused to do. I got after their superstars. They're going to play better in the next 2 or 3 games because they got to prove me wrong. They want to prove me wrong. That's fine. But, hey, Ozzie, send me my paycheck, man. Send it to me.
And what about Ray Lewis? He's had this sore toe issue. Is it a toe issue with Ray, or is it an age issue with Ray?
It's a combination. He can't push off like he wants to. But even he would agree that he's lost a step or 2 over the years. But then, when you get injured, and you're older, your body doesn't heal as fast. That's what's going on with him, and it's turf toe. That has ruined a lot of careers. It might be the end of it for him too.
In your column, Mike, you wrote that it was a difficult piece to write. Why was it hard for you to write?
Well, I came into the league with Ray. I was there from day one when he came into the complex, had on a pinstripe suit, a lot of jewelry, flash, just sitting there with sunglasses on looking tough. And we kind of grew together because I was a rookie guy covering the NFL, the Ravens. He was new, so, we came up together. And, he was kind of like my go-to guy in the first couple years. And you remember those things. And great players, you have that respect. Now, Ed, he and I, we just don't get along. For whatever reason, we don't get along, but I have a lot of respect for him. So it's tough doing that to legends. And it's tough, taking on age, because age is not kind to any of us.
We had a conversation earlier this year about the Ravens and their run and their chance to get to the Super Bowl, and you think that this is an ideal situation this season for them to get there. What should John Harbaugh do in this situation with these two guys?
Well, what he should do is get Ray off the field on third downs because he can't backpedal anymore. He's a liability. You look at the last couple games, the guys are taking him on. They're scheming on him. So get him off the field on third down situations or passing situations. With Ed, there's nothing you can do because the guys behind him can't play pass defense. But what you need to do is set him down and talk to him and say, look, son, if you can't get it done, you're coming off the field. You know, it's like Davy Johnson did that to Cal Ripken. Remember after he broke the streak? And then he just goes, no, Cal, sit down. Sit down. Okay, well, that's what has to happen here where John says, you can't get it done, Ed, sit.
We spoke about what John should do. What will John do?
John will do absolutely nothing. One, the discipline has already been out there because I took them on. I just told them that, hey, they're not very good at this point. Well, you know what happens is they read that. Great players respond. They will just play balls to the wall, you know, because they have something to prove. This is a great opportunity for this team. If Denver will lose to Pittsburgh, all right, and Pittsburgh goes to New England, well, if they knock off New England, then Pittsburgh has to play the Ravens here. That's a great thing. Now, even if they don't, they get after each other. It's a very physical game where they just beat each other up, and then the Ravens go into New England. They're a little tired. They take care of business. They get to the show.
That's Mike Preston, NFL writer for the Baltimore Sun. We'll see if his words were inspiration to Baltimore Ravens in 2 weeks. I'm Jerry Bembry from Buffalo Wild Wings in Owings Mills for 88.1 WYPR.
Game time! What time is it? Game time! Any dogs in the house? Any dogs in the house?
Yeah, you know what it is. Black and purple, black and purple, black and purple, black and purple. Yeah, you know what it is. Black and purple, black and purple, black and purple, black and purple.